It started like most betrayals do, with trust. My best friend, Derek, had always been the kind of guy who could charm the skin off a snake. He had this magnetic smile and a swagger that made everyone think he had it all figured out. We met in high school, stuck together through thick and thin. I bailed him out of more jams than I could count: speeding tickets, angry exes, one time even a suspended license fiasco. But I never minded. That's what best friends do, right? So when he came to me, eyes bloodshot and voice shaking, asking to borrow money, I didn't hesitate. "I just need $5,000, man," Derek said, pacing my apartment like a caged animal. "Just to hold me over until my bonus hits." I looked up from my laptop. $5,000? That's not chump change, Derek. He stopped pacing. I know. But I swear on my mother, I'll pay you back in a month. You know I'm good for it. I did know. Or at least, I thought I did. Derek was a sales guy at a luxury car dealership. The kind who could sell a Lambo to a guy looking for a Honda Civic. He bragged about commissions, bonuses, how he was this close to a promotion. And to be fair, he always looked the part: tailored suits, shiny watch, fancy car. But appearances can lie, and hindsight's a bitch. I transferred the money the same night. He texted me right after, "You're a lifesaver." Seriously. Steak dinner on me next week. That dinner never happened. In fact, Derek started ghosting me about 3 weeks later. First, he took longer to reply. Then he stopped answering my calls. Texts went unanswered. Voicemails ignored. At first, I worried. Maybe something happened. Maybe he got hurt. But then I saw it. A picture on Instagram. Derek at a pool party in Vegas, drink in one hand, arm around some girl I didn't recognize. He was wearing a brand new designer shirt. Caption: "Living my best life." Best life my ass. I felt the burn of betrayal crawl up my spine. This wasn't just about money anymore. This was about trust. About respect. And Derek had just spit in the face of both. I gave him another week. Sent one last message: "Hey, man. I saw the Vegas pic. Hope you're good. Any update on the money?" Nothing. I stared at that message for days, unread. That's when something inside me snapped. And that was the beginning of the end. I started digging. You don't just go from crying on a friend's couch to popping bottles in Vegas unless you're hiding something. So I did what any betrayed, mildly tech-savvy friend would do: I stalked the hell out of him. Every social media platform. Every tagged photo. Every check-in. Turns out, Derek hadn't just been living his best life, he was living someone else's entire dream. There were pictures of him on a yacht in Miami, stories from rooftop bars in LA, and posts about NFT investments and brand partnerships. That last one really made me snort. Derek, the guy who once asked me how to spell entrepreneur, was suddenly a crypto guru? Still, I had no proof he wasn't broke. Until I got a call from Jess. Jess was his ex. A whirlwind romance turned train wreck. We hadn't talked in over a year, but her name lit up my phone like fate dialing in. "You gave him money, didn't you?" she asked. I didn't say anything. She sighed. "Yeah, I figured. Look, I don't know all the details, but he pulled the same thing with me. Said he was about to close a huge deal, needed help covering rent. I gave him $2,000. Never saw it again. That was the final nail. He was running a personal con. A few more calls confirmed it. Old friends. Even a couple co-workers. Derek was a one-man Ponzi scheme, borrowing from Peter to party with Paul. And I had been the biggest sucker of them all. But not for long. I didn't want to just get my money back. I wanted him to feel the weight of what he'd done. I wanted him to wake up in the mess he made. So I started planning. I knew Derek. I knew his tells, his weaknesses, and above all, his ego. And nothing stroked that ego more than women and money. I set up a fake persona online. I called her Lexi. She was everything Derek wanted: gorgeous, glamorous, just naive enough to fall for his crap. I made a fake Instagram, filled it with pictures from a model's portfolio I found online, and started following him. Within 48 hours, he followed back. Within 72, he slid into her DMs. Classic Derek. Lexi played it cool. She posted about investments, hinted at a trust fund, mentioned an ex who broke her heart. Derek pounced like a wolf. We messaged for a week straight. I watched him pour on the charm, the same charm he used on me, on Jess, on everyone. He thought he was about to bag a rich girl. I was about to bag a snake. I set the trap, a weekend getaway at a private cabin, paid in advance, just for fun. He agreed in seconds. I had no idea what would happen next, only that it would be the beginning of his unraveling. And I wasn't done yet. I booked the cabin under Lexi's name. It was remote, nestled deep in the woods 2 hours outside the city, and just secluded enough to make a con man like Derek think he was stepping into some exclusive luxury. I paid for everything in cash. No paper trail back to me. The plan was simple: get him isolated, get him talking, record everything. I wasn't going to beat the money out of him. I wanted him to hang himself with his own words. Friday came. Derek arrived in his usual blurry, flashy car, duffel bag of designer clothes, and a smug grin on his face. He thought he was about to seduce some rich girl with daddy issues. Instead, he was walking into a hornet's nest. Lexi was running late, of course. The cabin had a smart lock and I gave him the code, told him to make himself comfortable. What he didn't know: I was already inside. I had set up a few hidden cameras. One in the living room lamp, one above the fireplace, and a tiny one in the smoke detector. Everything was live streaming to my phone. I sat in a hidden room with a laptop and headphones, listening. Derek immediately started talking. To himself, mostly. Bragging. Gloating. Making calls. Yeah man, I told you, this chick is loaded. I'm talking, penthouse in New York loaded. Said her ex used to buy her jewelry just for fun. He laughed, loud and cocky. If I play this right, I might not have to work again this year. My jaw clenched. An hour later, he was on FaceTime with someone I didn't recognize. Looked like another one of his scams. He was promising a big investment opportunity if they could just front him 10 grand. I took a screenshot of the call. And then he opened up a drawer in the kitchen and found the envelope I had planted there. 10 crisp $100 bills. Jackpot, he muttered. Then he did exactly what I knew he would: he pocketed the money without saying a word. Gotcha. The next morning, I walked right out of the hidden room and into the living room while he was eating eggs. His face went pale. What the hell? Hey Derek, I said calmly. Long time, no see. He stood up so fast the chair fell backward. What the hell is going on? Where's Lexi? Lexi doesn't exist, I said. But you do. On camera. Taking money, bragging about scamming people, planning your next heist. Want to see the footage? He tried to lunge for me. I stepped aside and pointed to my phone. Go ahead. Hit me. Make this even easier. He stopped, breathing hard. You're insane. Nah, I said. Just done being your doormat. I tossed him a flash drive. Copies of everything. You can keep that. I also sent one to your boss, your ex, and the guy you FaceTimed yesterday. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Oh, and I kept the 10 grand you said you needed, I added. That envelope you stole? Yeah, that was bait. My money now. Consider it interest. He looked like he wanted to scream. I didn't give him the chance. I grabbed my bag, walked out, and left him standing in the ruins of his ego. That should have been the end. But Derek wasn't done. Not by a long shot. I thought I'd won. I walked out of that cabin with my head high and my conscience clean. Derek had been exposed, humiliated, and cut off from every last person who once trusted him. The footage worked like a charm. His boss called me the same day, thanked me, then fired Derek on the spot. Jess texted me a screenshot of the message she sent him: lose my number, loser. But Derek? He didn't take it lying down. A week later, I got a call from my landlord. Someone had reported me for dealing drugs out of my apartment. Said there were suspicious packages and heavy foot traffic. The cops showed up. No warrant, just a welfare check. They didn't find anything, obviously, because I'm not a damn dealer, but the embarrassment? The suspicion? That lingered. Then came the prank deliveries. Food orders I never made. A strippergram for a fake bachelor party. Boxes of stuff COD from online stores. Derek was lashing out. Childishly. Desperately. But it was more than just petty revenge, it was a warning. He'd been exposed, and now he had nothing to lose. Then came the worst blow. My job. I worked in IT security for a financial firm. Clean record. Good reputation. Until someone sent an anonymous email to HR with evidence that I had stolen client data. It was all fake. I knew that. But companies don't investigate first, they protect themselves. I was suspended. That night, I sat in my dark apartment, staring at the walls, wondering if I had gone too far. Wondering if revenge had cost me more than it was worth. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. Next time you try to ruin someone's life, make sure they don't know how to ruin yours better. It was signed, of course, with a snake emoji. I knew then, I couldn't just win this battle. I had to end the war. And I had one last card to play. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there, staring at my computer screen, rage bubbling under the surface. Derek wanted war? Fine. But he forgot who he was dealing with. I had something he didn't: discipline. While he was throwing tantrums and sending pizza deliveries, I was digging. I went through every piece of data I had on Derek, every old password, every careless photo he'd shared with me over the years, every unguarded moment where he thought I wasn't paying attention. And then I hit gold. An old Gmail login. One he used for shady Craigslist deals back in college. I guessed the password in 4 tries. There it was, years of emails, receipts, scam correspondence, even photos of fake IDs. He hadn't just conned friends. He'd scammed strangers, dozens of them. And one victim? A woman who had reported him to the police years ago, but the case went cold. I forwarded everything to her. I made sure the file was clean, organized, timestamped, with a neat little bow on top. I added a summary of what he'd done to me, links to the video evidence from the cabin, and suggested she talk to the district attorney again. I sent another copy to the DA's office myself. Then I made a third package anonymous and dropped it at the front desk of Derek's old dealership. His ex-coworkers deserved to know who had been stealing clients behind their backs. The dominoes started to fall. 2 weeks later, I got a call. A detective. They had reopened the fraud investigation. Said the new evidence was too solid to ignore. Said Derek had violated parole terms from a past plea deal I didn't even know about. Suddenly, this wasn't just personal, it was criminal. They arrested him at a bar downtown. I didn't see it, but Jess texted me the news. Sent a blurry photo of Derek in cuffs, head down, jacket half off his shoulders like he'd tried to run. It was over. I got reinstated at work once HR realized the evidence was fake. They apologized. I didn't gloat. I didn't have to. A month passed. Life returned to normal. And then, one night, I got a letter. Real mail. No return address. Inside, a short note. Congratulations. You won. But you're still alone. No signature. Just a snake emoji. I laughed. Not because it was funny. But because I finally understood something. Derek wasn't my friend. He was a mirror of everything I refused to become. And now that he was gone, I didn't just feel safe. I felt clean. Sometimes the only way to save yourself from a snake is to cut it out of your life completely. Even if it bleeds.